Hey, how you doing? It's time. It's time for another Top 5 Friday once again. Let's keep with the theme. Last week I did horrible game rentals. Today I'm going to do great game rentals. We rented a lot of games back in the day, and there were a lot of classics that I love today that were rentals, never owned them. So I want to talk about some of those games right now. But before that, we gotta... What's the sponsor for today? You know I'm only going to do these Top 5 Fridays if we have a sponsor, right? All right, well, I'm not doing it then. All right, I guess I'll just have to... I'm just gonna sit here and read. I'm just gonna read, because, got plenty of time in quarantine. Gonna learn how to read now. Gonna learn how to read Book 5 of the Preternatural Chronicles. I hope I'm saying that right. If you like Deadpool and you like vampires, then boy, we have got something for you. Hunter Blaine is currently writing a 13-book series called The Preternatural Chronicles. It's about an asshole vampire who has decided to use his horrific powers for good with the hopes that his blackened soul might get bleached. He works with a holy priest that guides him towards the light, but that doesn't mean bad guys aren't gonna get their heads ripped off in the process while John the Vampire hums the chorus to Barbie Girl. But wait, there's more. You can't read like us? Well, there's audiobooks just for you. And for those of you who know audiobooks, this is voiced by Luke freaking Daniels. So you can find these in Amazon on paperback, you can find it on Kindle, you can find it on Kindle Plus on Audible, and iTunes as an audiobook. Click on the link below. You can follow Hunter Blaine on Facebook and check him out.
It's Friday night, I don't know what I'm gonna do tonight. I could sit here and pick my nose while I watch a brand new video. Whoa, Top 5 Friday tonight.
It's time. I'm gonna enjoy talking about these games a lot more than I was talking about those other games. It's just, they bring back like postpartum, that's not right, whatever. Number 5 on the list is Lemmings. Yeah, so I didn't know much about this game. I just kind of looked at the back of the box and, I'm not a big puzzle guy kind of guy. I'm not big on Tetris. Dr. Mario is okay. But games like this, I just never really were into, so I took a risk getting it, and come to find out, I had a blast. I loved playing this game. A lot of it has to do with the fact that these little guys, you have to kind of think on the fly. These little guys are just going about their day, not just completely oblivious to life. It's like a bunch of Melvors. They're just walking around. They really don't know their head from their ass or a hole in the ground. They're not aware of anything, and you have to guide them and let them know, hey, you need to walk up this ladder, you need to use an umbrella to actually fall down so you don't splat. And the goal is to get each one of these lemmings to their goals. Although it is fun to watch some of them fall to the ground and splat. That is kind of fun, almost as awesome as in Skydiver for the Atari 2600 when you don't open the chute and they just splat on the ground. I was a kid, I loved doing that. I wouldn't even open the chute, I just watch them splatter. What does that say about me? I don't think that says anything about me. I just think it's fun to watch things splat. Next up on this amazing list is a game that I fell in love with when we rented it for the first time. Then on to now, it's been a favorite of mine, and that's Power Blade. Power Blade is made by Taito. But there's influences with Mega Man. I think you can stage select, so you can go in any order you want with the stages, and you get to use a boomerang to whoop some butt. So you can upgrade that boomerang to 1 to 2 to 3. May have it go farther, but the ultimate goal is to get that Power Blade suit, and you turn silver, and you can just this wave of boomerang energy. You know what? Actually, I have a boomerang here, and so it kind of, it's kind of like this. You take the boomerang and you swing it, and it flies out, and it hits an enemy, and it comes back, and it just destroys everything in its path. That's what it's like, and that's what's so satisfying about this game. I think I've said this in a video once before. I guess it was in an episode. I've always loved games where boomerangs were the weapon. There's something so satisfying about throwing something and it comes back at you, and in the meantime, it knocked several guys' heads off. And what made this really super good rental, other than the fact that it is a good game, is the fact that once we woke up on that Saturday morning, after playing it all night Friday, we couldn't wait. At least I couldn't. I can't speak for Chris, but I could not wait to wake up again and stick it in the NES and just keep going. All right, so the next one up here, I don't remember if I had seen this at Nintendo Power and decided to rent it, or it was just on the whim seeing the box on the shelf and being like, this looks interesting. What's up? Poo Poo? Poo Poo? Okay. Now the gameplay has this sort of Prince of Persia style in terms of how you move around and all that, but this game with its polygon graphics definitely has a very unique style to it, and I was just immediately sucked in, especially with the opening cinematic. I had never seen anything like that in Super Nintendo or any other game before. The game has a lot of trial and error in it, so you're going to be dying a lot. It's really about trying to figure out how to get past that next part in the game, how to get past this particular puzzle and not die and get vaporized. I remember one of the first enemies of the game, this big huge beast, and I could not for the life of me figure out how to get past it. I kept dying over and over and over and over again until I realized you need to run in the other direction and swing on this thing and just escape. So the whole game is like that. You just go through it trying to figure out how to get past each part, and you kind of have to take it at one moment at a time. I think for me, the best way to describe this is it felt like I was playing a movie for the first time. Just the cinematics, the way everything, the story, how it played out. I wanted to see what happened. It felt like I was playing a movie, and I'd never experienced anything like that before. And it was certainly, for me, unique and something brand new. You know, that Friday night I played the hell out of it. I played it again Saturday all day long probably, and I really, really enjoyed it. And the game that came after that, Flashback, loved it too. I think that came after it. Loved that one too. But Out of This World really was out of this world for me. It blew me away. Now next up on the list is a little game that I like to call Legend of the Mystical Ninja. Just the graphics are beautiful. The overhead, it kind of reminded me of Zelda. Completely different, play style, gameplay. But, it still kind of reminded me of that. And the fact that you could go into these different shops, do different things. And I was really, really drawn to the fact that every once in a while you could go in and play like a little mini game, like an arcade. It was almost like a Sims in a way. And I don't think I'd ever played a game like that before. I just couldn't wait to go into the next hut or building or whatever and just see what was in there and see if there was any kind of like cool, like rudimentary arcade game that I could play or anything like that. And then you go into these side-scrolling levels as well, and they're just as fun as the overhead, if not more than the overhead stuff. And again, the game is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, and I could not put this thing down when I rented it. All weekend, I didn't even want to give it up. One of those games, not quite as Link to the Past, but it just engulfed me for those days that I had it in my possession for that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I couldn't get enough of it, couldn't put it down. I don't think this is my number one rental of all time. I would probably have to put that as Link to the Past that ended up causing me to want to buy the game. This is just 5 more really good game rentals, so it's hard to kind of quantify and say what is the best. But in this particular list of 5, I'd have to put this one number 1, and that is Soul Blazer. I don't know. I think it's made by NX, and they do a lot of RPGs. I'm not sure if this is classified as an RPG, but to me it's not. Maybe it's not. Soul Blazer is an action overhead adventure game, and you use your sword to whoop up on a bunch of different monsters. So you unlock all these different parts of the town, and you go through and unlock different areas of the map by killing monsters, and you actually get to free the souls, and it creates like new houses, and you free people, and so you see the towns kind of develop as you go along. And it kind of reminds you of ActRaiser, in which I think these guys actually made ActRaiser. I could be wrong, but it's definitely, you can hear the inspiration or see the inspiration in that game. And the music is awesome. I love the music in this game. I've actually used it in several videos. When I first played it, I was hooked immediately because I was a big fan of The Legend of Zelda. I kind of, you know, was familiar with that overhead. You got a sword. Let's just go swing it at everything in sight. Let's just go on this adventure and exploring and all that stuff. Not as much exploring in this game as Zelda, of course, but I played it all night, played it all the next day, and I ended up beating the game. That weekend, I had become the Soul Blazer, the one to rule all the souls from blazing. I don't know what any of that meant. If you want to get the Season 5 Blu-ray, you can click this link right here. If you want to subscribe to the channel for some God knows what reason, you can click this link here. And yeah, there's probably a video here because YouTube forces you to have a link to a video, so who knows what this video is. Soul Blazer.